So what would we have to do if I wanted to graph this negative y is greater than thing? Divide by -1. Let's start with that. And does anyone remember what happens when you divide an inequality by a negative? You got to flip that sign. So you guys, I would do something to help yourself remember that. Like, I personally like this woo, like a little whoopty swoopty, something to let yourself know I got to change that sign, which I just did not. There we go. So it was a greater than, now it's a less than. So my y is now less than, what would be my slope? 1/2. Let's go down to, my slope is 1/2. Then my question is the line solid or dashed? Lots of different things to think about. Because it's just a less than, not a less than or equal to, it is going to be a dashed line. We're going to dash that line. Okay, so we've got a lot of things that we're doing in this problem. It looked just like a y equals mx plus b. We had to flip a sign. We had to make the line dash, and now we've got a shade. We've got a shade. Couple different ways to do this. What'd you say, hey? Couple different options. Less than. What way do you think of less? Do you think typically above things are less or below things are less? Below. If you want to do that logic, that's totally fine. The answer is right there. Another way to do it, though, if you're like, I struggle, honestly, Hayden, the steeper the line gets, the above and below gets a little harder to do. Because if it's a really steep line, you're like, which one? Okay, so a foolproof way is to pick a point. If the point can never be on the line, the origin is going to be the easiest point to do as long as it's not on the line. If I were to pick 0, 0, you're wondering, does it make the statement true? And I would always plug it into the original because maybe we've made a mistake getting to this point, right? If I plugged in 0 for the x and 0 for the y, does it make a true or false statement? -0 would just be 0 is greater than 0 plus 2. I'm getting that, correct me if I'm wrong, if I plug in a 0 for x and a 0 for y. Is that right? Is 0 greater than 2? 0 is not greater than 2. So Hayden, I cannot shade where 0, 0 is. I'm going to jump the line to where 0, 0 is not, and I'm going to shade over there. If it was true, I would shade where that point is. Sound good? So those are different options. Guys, as this is a problem, maybe you're writing yourself some notes like flip the inequality sign if multiplying or dividing by a negative. Maybe you're writing yourself a note like that. Maybe you're writing, oh, I've already kind of put some info in down here for solid or dashed lines. When it's a less than or a greater than, that's when it's going to be a dashed line. Dashed line. And maybe you just want to remind yourself that looks like this. And then if it's ever less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, this is going to be a solid line. Boom. Maybe you're writing yourself a note of plug in a point. If it's false, this is false, so you do not shade where the point is. I want you guys to write down whatever helps you for the future. So what happens on this next one? When there's like less given to you, just x is greater than 3. Hoy or vux? Vux, because I see an x, so I'm just going to say vux. So my line is going to look horizontal or vertical. Vertical, solid or dashed? Dashed, because it's just greater than. And then, are we shading to the right of that line or to the left? Hayden, we can always plug in a point. Do you agree 0, 0 is here? If I plug in 0 for x, there's nowhere for y. Is 0 bigger than 3? 0 is not bigger than 3, so I cannot shade where that point would be. I'm going to go to the other side. Or if you're thinking, oh, well, anything to the right of 3 is bigger than 3, that's other great logic. How about this one? What do we have to do first? Let's add that 2y over, you guys. You agree? If we added our 2y, then we don't have to divide by a negative, which is nice. If I'm just dividing by 2, do I have to flip my inequality sign? Nuh-uh. What would be my slope? 1/2. Well said. So we're going to have 1/2 x minus, I'm going to say 5 halves or 2.5, whatever you want to say, is less than or equal to y. Hayden, if you are turning into I'm just kind of know which one's greater than or less than, and I want to just shade above or below, I always do better if I have my y written first, personally. If you guys don't need to do that, good for you. But for me, it helps me just associate, am I going greater than or less than? You guys, negative 5 halves, where am I going to go graph that? Down 2.5, boom. My slope is a half, up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. It's kind of annoying that you're floating in the middle of a point, but that's okay. Solid or dashed line? Solid. Good job, Ben Richardson. Now, again, because the pink, I rewrote the pink. Y is greater than or equal to. Would we shade above or below greater than? We're going to shade above. Now, if you're a point picker, the origin is not on my line, so I would plug in 0, 0 to my original. If I plugged in 0, 0, and I plug in a 0 for x and a 0 for y, wouldn't I be left with negative 5 is less than or equal to 0? In Lawyer, would you say negative 5 is less than 0? Yeah, so since 0, 0, 0 made a true statement, then I would shade where 0, 0 is. Sound good, buddy? Oh, how about this cutie? Hoyervucks. Hoy! Vertical or horizontal? Horizontal, solid or dash? So many things to think about. Above or below, how would you say this? Y is less than. Less than would go above or below? Below. So Aiden, give this one a check. So less than is going to be underneath. Again, if we're a point picker, if I plugged in a 0 right there, is 0 less than negative 2? No, so I cannot shade where that is. Less than absolute value of x. What's that absolute value of x going to look like? Boop, the v, not the u. U is x squared, the v. Guys, we're at the origin. And we're shading less than. Solid or dashed? Dashed line. Less than. Okay, I cannot use the point 0, 0. Ben Richardson, give me another point that's not on my line. 0, 1. I'm fine with that. Or which one you want to do? Okay, of course you're going to make me change it. 1, 0, he says. He wanted to try 1, 0. If I put in a 1 for my x and a 0 for my y, what is the absolute value of 1? 1. Is 0 less than 1? Yeah, so since you chose this point and it made a true statement, I'm going to shade where that point is, which is under my function. Makes sense, less than. Funky. Ew, what do you think? We got a lot going on. Now I got 2 inequalities reads coming at you. We've got a lot of this, a lot of things going on. Negative 1 is less than x plus y is less than or equal to 3. There's a lot going on. I'm here to say, whoa, that is really fat. I'm here to say we're graphing 2 different lines here. Negative 1 is less than x plus y. And anyone have any idea what the other one would be? Yes, sir. X plus y? Yeah, is less than or equal to 3. We got 2 different things going on here. That whatever's in the middle has to go to both equations. Don't think that the one, that the x just goes with the left and that the y just goes with the right. No, no, no. So let's go solve each of those. This one over here, let's get y by itself. You want to subtract y or subtract x? Subtract x, agreed. So we'd have negative x minus 1, is less than y. I'm going to put my y in front. Y is greater than negative x minus 1. I'm going to graph that. I'm not even going to look at the right-hand side yet. Negative x minus 1. I'm going down 1. Slope of negative 1 down to the right. Solid or dashed? Dashed. Above or below? Good. How I rewrite it, I like to have my y in front. Y is greater than. Greater is going to be above. So I'm going to shade like this. So we've got 1 going on. And then we got to go do this other one. What is this one going to be? Y is going to be less than or equal to negative x plus 3. So I'm going to go up 3. I'm going to have the same slope. It says less than or equal to, so I'm going to make it a solid line. Which direction would less than be? Above pink or below pink? Above or below? Below. So I'm going to shade my pink here. Where do they only care about the answers? This is like a hot dog, okay? They only care about the hot dog wherever both overlapped. And that happens to be right between the two. Some people won't shade on the outside at all. That's okay. That they like to just keep this empty and this empty. I'll show you what that would look like. But don't feel like you need to do that. Like, I'm a big step shower. I think I personally would make some mistakes getting to this step. So I'm good with just leaving my thought process there. Just make sure that you really enunciate what the answer is. Okay, last one then. Split this into 2. Split this into 2, and we need to come up with 2 different equations. Negative 3 is greater than 2x plus y, and 2x plus y is greater than 7. Okay, I'm going to get my y by itself. I like to write my y first. Y is less than negative 2x minus 3. Negative 2x less than dashed line. Less than means underneath. I got y is greater than negative 2x plus 7. Again, parallel slopes greater than. I'm going to shade above. So where's my solution? Do we have any overlap though? Because don't forget, this is saying that these answers have to be less than 3 and they've got to be greater than 7. So do you have any overlap? No. So how many solutions do you think?
0.
None. There's going to be no solution here. No solution because there's no overlap.